In Chapter 8, we're going to look at quantities in chemical reactions. And one concept that can be kind of difficult to understand is limiting reagent. And I thought I'd give a practical example that we all might be going through right now. That is, we're looking in our pantry at the ingredients we have, maybe not being able to get all of the ones we want, or not wanting to go to the store, and trying to figure out how much of a given thing we can make. So this is my recipe for bread. It takes 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sourdough starter, a tablespoon of yeast, 4 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. Oh, and actually there's also a teaspoon of sugar. Okay, if I go into my pantry, I'm going to look to see what I have and figure out how many loaves of bread I can make. This makes 1 loaf. What I have is, I have tap water, so that's unlimited. I have about 5 cups of starter. I have 3 tablespoons of yeast, 17 cups of flour, about 20 tablespoons of kosher salt, and I've got lots of sugar. Okay, so then the question becomes, how many loaves of bread can I make? So many of you are going to look at this and go right away, well, you can make 3 loaves of bread. And the question is, how did you figure that out? Well, the way you figured it out is you looked at each ingredient and figured out how many loaves of bread each ingredient would give you. So with water, I can make lots of bread. From the starter, I need 1 cup. I have 5. I can make 5 loaves of bread from the starter. However, with the yeast, I need 1 tablespoon of yeast and I only have 3. So I can make 3 loaves of bread with the amount of yeast I have. With the flour, I need 4 cups of flour for 1 loaf of bread and I have 17. So with my flour, I have enough to make 4 loaves. I can make 20 with the salt and lots with the sugar. And maybe without realizing it, what you did was you took the quantity that you have and you divided it by what you need, right? So 5 divided by 1 is how we got 5. 3 divided by 1 was how we got 3. 4 came from 17 divided by 4, and so on. So what we do is we essentially figure out how many loaves of bread we can get from each of our ingredients or our reagents, and the one that gives us the least, that limits how many loaves of bread. So in this case, the yeast only allows us to make 3 loaves of bread. That is our limiting reagent. Everything else, when we make our 3 loaves of bread, will be in excess. To carry this example a little bit further, we could rewrite this sort of in the format similar to a chemical reaction. I would write 1 cup of water plus 1 cup of starter plus 1 tablespoon of yeast plus 4 cups of flour plus 1 tablespoon salt plus 1 teaspoon of sugar. Those are all my reactants, and they all yield 1 loaf of bread. And we can think of chemical reactions in the same way. So, for example, I could take this reaction. Copper 2 chloride plus aluminum metal makes 2 aluminum chloride and 3 copper solid. I'm going to stop here, and the next video is going to pick up on how to interpret this and how to use it quantitatively.